You guys might not know this, but I really love gaming. I mean, if you never played a video game then put the damn fries in the bag bro, unless if your country banned gaming, which I actually googled, and apparently, you can play video games anywhere, even in the f***ing ocean.
Hello, how are you?
However, it is always important to find a community to be open about. I've of course had Zero's brain cells. However recently, I have been distancing myself from the community. In fact soon, I might even leave their group. Then something hit me. Zero has people friends with another community, Mystic, Dreamcatcher, a YouTuber that I actually wanted to play with back in 2022, but never came to. Until now. I've played his eviction notices, and well, they were a double-edged sword. But that also made me wonder, what happens if I make a video about them? Bada bim bada boom, here it is. Squid Game, but your friends are in it. Which if you basically watched Squid Game, and played a Roblox game that lets you play with your friends even without them playing, then you might know how to play these games before. However, I've decided that I should dig a bit further, and include the season 6, or 7. I don't know if you're considering first season 5 in it, because it's unanimously agreed to be a season that sucks so bad, it might have not existed. However, this cast, I'm showing you, all 16 of these, are competing in Squid Game, and let's see who they are. In no particular order, we have, Adam, Lost Soul, Dude, Killua, Fry Guy, Dragon, Chloe K, or Stephanie, Dino Nugget, Heather, Leek, Aiden, Timo, Rat, Zach, Zoke, and of course, Mystic himself. Before we start, I usually don't say this, but if you want me to diversify my content, and make my videos better quality, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. Because I really want to reach 300 subscribers that I have been struggling with. But now it's time to put up the contestants into Squid Game, or so you think. Because actually we're not playing every single Squid Game. In fact, we're only playing Marballs. It's a custom game that the game added. If you basically watched those Marble videos back in the day, then you might know how this one works. So instead of letting them suffer in red light green light, or worse, glass bridge, I wanted to see them suffer with marbles. So basically if you're the last one to make into that hole you were eliminated. But this intro has been long, so let's just start our first round. The first round began. I was hoping that I wasn't the first one out. But luckily I did survive this round. However, the beginning it was actually clear who was the first one out. Poor Zoke. However, then Zoke made an unexpected comeback, because in the end he did survive, leaving Killua the first one out of the game. Poor Killua, he survived more eliminations than Trump surviving assassinations. In fact, I checked on how many times was Killua nominated, and he was nominated 5 times. Let me tell you why that's actually ludicrous. Despite making it further, I have only been nominated 4 times, while as Killua, who only made it to the halfway point, getting an actual pretty respectable 8th place, had to pray for his life 5 times. The craziest part is that, he wasn't even a challenge threat, they just really wanted to get the poor dude out. But enough rambling, time to get to the second round. And this is where our first problem began. Because on round 2, for some damn miracle, everyone somehow made it to the damn hole. You see, in Marballs, you can actually select on how many players should survive, but very rarely, there is actually a chance where everyone gets to survive.
However, since I'm a cute guy, I've decided to make things
worse. Double elimination. Since I didn't want to do this longer, I've decided to do a double elimination. But don't worry, it's the last time this happened, so there won't be double eliminations happening again. What is happening again is Zoke's life being risken. Because he was literally at risk again. This man honestly wants to be the final one to qualify, but sadly that didn't happen this time around, because he was indeed eliminated this time around. Along with Fry Guy, Or I can call fries and place an order. While I realized that I was actually doing pretty good in these rounds. The next round though. Yeah, so this round was rough, because I was at the bottom too, with the fellow gay icon Timon. But will Timon actually survive against Adam, unlike last time? Or Adam will say, nah, I'd win. You know what, let's play the guessing game. Will Adam survive this round? A. Yes. B. No. Even though it was a close battle, I did actually survive against Timon, meaning karma never strikes back. I just know my nostrils are cooked and the next eviction notice game. Well, next round wasn't really that special, because I did survive that round. However, it was actually the closest round yet, but in the end, Aiden got eliminated. Much like Killua, Aiden never seems to catch a break, but I mean, come on. Wanting Chloe K to die when she actually made it further this time, yeah, not very nice, Aiden. Speaking of not very nice, we landed into the second, and arguably way bigger problem. You see, this game has a secret game. Randomly there is a game where we get celebrated by dinner, where we sit down and enjoy our dinner, and sometimes there are people that try to kill other people by knives. So it's basically lights out. But for alcoholics. This is especially a problem, because I didn't want anyone to die. However, despite my best efforts on protecting everyone, we unfortunately lost Zach. Maybe karma does strike back to Timon after all, as he got his mortal enemy Zach out. We've reached the final 10 and, yet nothing special, just a regular round. However, one of the two female contestants, Heather, is eliminated, which means Chloe K is the last female contestant remaining. The next round was a big one. As the final 3 approached, I saw that Mystic is at risk. And sadly he actually didn't make it and got eliminated. Looks like I got karma yet again. Let this be a lesson. Don't try me, nah, I'm just kidding. But besides that, we've reached the halfway mark, so let's see who is remaining. Adam, Lost Soul, Blue Dude, Dragon, Chloe K, Dino Nugget, Leek, and Rat. So 4 people that performed badly, 2 who did average, and 2 that were at the podium. Let's see what happens. The next round was also a bit tough, because I was at risk again. Fortunately this time, I was at the bottom 3, instead of bottom 2. Which means that I didn't have to worry. In the end, Lost Soul got eliminated. Lost Soul is an interesting case, since he left right after the first HOH, which means he was technically the first person out of the game. However, we were teamed up with each other in season 4. However, due to my incompetence, we were eliminated early and he definitely wasn't happy. So yeah, you can see that my skills in 2022 has not been improving. Though what I did improve in is making alliances, because they did actually work pretty well, especially last season where I kinda became the one holding 2 alliances. So not to be egotistical, but last season's win was honestly pretty justifiable, since I did kinda play the smartest. Looks like my -2 brain cells has grown to -1. But hopefully, if we ever play an eviction notice, I hope nothing goes wrong. Next round obviously wasn't anything special, but our other female contestant, Chloe K, or some people call her Stephanie, has been eliminated. Looks like she actually made it further than Aiden this time. She was the second person voted off from last game, due to some minor. Yeah, this was a pretty sketchy server. We've reached the final 6, and honestly, I'm proud of myself. I did somehow better than I thought I would, but will I actually win it all? Well, let's see. So again, nothing special of a round, because luckily I managed to get into the final 5. However, Blue Dude, who was the first organically eliminated contestant who got voted off, gets 6th place. Not much has known about him, except the fact that he wasn't voting me to win. So the final 5 is me, Dragon, Dino Nugget, Leek, and Rat. This is a pretty solid final 5, trying to give Rat a chance for a second win, while also giving Dragon, Leek, and Dino Nugget a chance. Sadly, one of them has to go this round, and it looks like Dragon is gone. Another easy nominee target. At first I didn't know why, but then I saw him winning vetoes, so he was a challenge threat, and honestly pretty funny. Alright, so it's time for the final 4, where I'm at risk again. So let's do another quiz. Will I survive? A. Yes. B. Yeah, just choose B. After getting pretty respectable places, my reign has officially ended. But hey, 4th place is really good. I love taking the purple medal, or the amethyst medal, or the I don't know what's the color on getting 4th place. But now final 3, Dino Nugget, Leek, and Rat. Rat was actually 3rd place last season, while Leek and Dino Nuggies were average. Will Rat get a W? Well, not exactly, since Leek did clutch up and made it to the hole, which left Rat at another bronze medal. But great game, Rat. Getting 3rd place yet again is great, and you are the only contestant that didn't change placements. However, this time around we got a very delicious final 2. Dino Nugget, an air fryer delectable, and Leek, the vegetable, not making any anime reference just in case. They actually performed the same, getting 10th and 9th place. However, one of them barely didn't make it to the merge, while the other barely made it. So who is the winner? It was relatively close actually. Both of them were fighting for their lives, and I thought Leek would win first, but then he made a mistake, bumping into Dino Nugget, giving him the lead. However, after that it was back and forth between them getting closer, but in the end, Dino Nugget was victorious. Sorry Leek, 2nd might be amazing, but Dino Nugget won the game. I didn't know who was gonna win, but I wasn't sure it was Dino Nugget, but he did it, and I'm pretty proud of the one and only, air fryer delectable. Okay, how long was this video? Well, that's it for the video. Honestly, there is a potential part 2. If you guys really like this video, maybe late August where most of my other works are gonna be done. In fact, a new Dandy's World video is projected to release on one of the weekends of August. Or maybe Grim is finally getting a new video. In fact, there is so much potential for new videos for the rest of the year. So if you like this video then please subscribe to my channel. Oh, also don't ask how I got these people's username.